Spider-Man doesn't even stop the Vulture. Vulture's suit blows up, and that's what stops him. I would argue he does stop the Vulture. He stops the Vulture because the Vulture wants to steal from the moving day jet from Avengers Tower, and Spider-Man intervening is the only thing that stops that, and Vulture is unsuccessful because of this intervention. So I would argue that Spider-Man did stop the Vulture. He might not have beat the Vulture in a fight necessarily, but he did stop the Vulture from doing his evil plan.
Agreed. 100% agree. I think he stopped the Vulture, but most audiences didn't want to see him stop the Vulture. They wanted to see him beat the Vulture. The Vulture had already beat him twice, and you want that. I want that. I wanted him to stop the Vulture, look at the Vulture, say, I stopped you, and I didn't need anything else. And then the Vulture's like, did you really stop me if you haven't beat me? And then he beats the Vulture and saying, I don't need anything but myself.
I would say that the Vulture surprise attacks him, drops him, and really he didn't even get a chance to fight back the initial time. His suit shoots out a parachute, which drops him and then traps him when he gets into the river. So I wouldn't consider that a fight necessarily. And then the second time, he doesn't necessarily get beat by the Vulture. The gun goes off and literally chops the boat in half, and Spider-Man now has to deal with that so the Vulture can get away. Vulture's suit blows up, and that's what stops him. True. But I think if we have a problem with this, then we should also have a problem with Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire, Sam Raimi. Here's why. In Spider-Man 2, Doc Ock beats Spider-Man after he saves the runaway train, exerting a ton of energy. And in Homecoming, he saves the city by diverting the jet from the outside by like jamming the rudders and everything. And then he is in the plane crash. Like he doesn't jump off at the last second. He's straight up in a plane crash. Okay. And then after this,
after all that,
the Vulture is able to beat a weakened Spider-Man, but in the end, Spider-Man is still able to save the Vulture from his own actions, which usually in the Raimi movies, the villain's own actions would lead to their demise, with Spider-Man unable to save them. Basically 3 movies, 3 for 3.
Sure. My rebuke to that is the lead up to like him pulling the plane down. I will give you that. It's sick. I love that because I think he just like uses his web shooters to kick one of the fins up, and he just pulls on it, and that's what pulls the plane down.
Right.
Really cool. Love that scene. For me, whether it's Spider-Man 2, I'm going to go back to Spider-Man 1 because I remember that one the most because it's one of my favorite fight scenes with Spider-Man.
Okay.
The battle drawn out between Green Goblin and Spider-Man, like they're trading blows, they're going back and forth. There's all this history that's happened between the two of them, and you kind of get like a sense of like resolution from Spider-Man as he's beating Green Goblin. And then right when Green Goblin's up against the wall, he's beaten. He knows he's beaten.
I would argue that Spider-Man beats the Green Goblin.
Yeah.
And then Green Goblin has a move at the end that kind of goes against him, but it was just a Hail Mary from a character who was already beaten.
Right. And like it gives me the final resolution, even though technically Green Goblin had the final blow, it gives me the resolution of Spider-Man showed that he could do that. He did beat it and ultimately turned the villains into pushing them into something. I'm having a hard time recalling exactly how Spider-Man 2's ending. I haven't seen it in a while.
Spider-Man does beat Doc Ock in a way because when he goes to stab him, he like brings up the cables that are going to the machine and Doc Ock electrocutes himself.
Right.
But
his own machine is the thing that kind of kills him, essentially. Like, I don't know. The resolutions that happen, I just know that like when I see the final fight in Spider-Man 2, it's not kind of like, Spider-Man could have done more. Like, and that's the feeling. I got that feeling in Spider-Man 3. Like, I feel like Spider-Man could have done more, even though Spider-Man 3's last scene's kind of crazy. It always just left me, I'm like, I feel like you could have done more here and it would have been even more fun. And that same thing with Homecoming is like, you could have done more and it could have been more fun. And it could have been more Spider-Man-y, but I feel like it fell short and it's missing a lot of resolution pieces for me. And so I always felt, and even rewatching it, I always feel I'm like, I wish there was more. Like it just leaves me with that feeling that there could have been more and there wasn't enough of a resolution for me, if that makes sense.